Hello and welcome to My Mom's Basement, presented by Barstool Sports and 3Chi. I am your host, Robbie Fox, or am I? And this is my co-host, Clem, or is it? Because we're here to talk about Secret Invasion, Episode 3. And I blogged this week, Clem. We might be the only ones talking about it. It's crazy. I know we said it last week. We said it the week before, that this show is kind of being treated like a secret by everyone because nobody is mentioning the actual good show that Marvel's putting out. I've enjoyed all 3 episodes. I enjoyed episode 3 a lot as well. It's a little more mature than most Marvel shows, but for whatever reason, it seems like they didn't view this worthy of a marketing push or something.
It's very weird considering how much Marvel stuff we've gotten shoved down our throats, in our eyeballs, in our ears. Think in my butt one time. That was a wild ride. Moon Knight, I think, was in every orifice of my body at some point. Yet this one, yeah. And so it doesn't have the superhero vibe with it, right? I understand that. But like the acting is pretty fucking good, right? Am I crazy to say that? Like it feels like it's a really good really well acted show. So it's like embrace what you have. I guess at the same point they're fighting the fatigue by just acting like it doesn't exist. All right, whatever you guys say at Disney, you guys are the at the mouse for a reason, I suppose. But I don't get it, man. It's very weird. And we're still covering everybody. The Basement Boys are just representing on 4th of July week, no less. And people are just taking off. We have the best ofs rolling out of Barstool. People are just chilling by the beach. Me and Bob in the basement talking nerdy to you.
Listen, 4th of July week, we're here to talk about World War III kicking off on this Marvel show. I mean, what is there not to talk about here? But you mentioned the fatigue, and I wanted to bring that up because in my blog, I even said, generally, I took the superhero fatigue line and I threw it out the window. I didn't even really consider it seriously. I considered it a bunch of baloney because you take movies like Across the Spider-Verse, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, The Batman last year. These movies break through, not only with the audience, with the box office. They do super well if they're good movies. So I always viewed it as maybe the audience is fatigued of the same superhero movie over and over again. But if you do something different, they'll show up and they'll enjoy that. This is something super different. It's something good. It's something that from the people that actually are reviewing it are giving it good reviews, but the audience still isn't showing up. Everyone I talk to about it, I'm like, oh, Secret Invasion, you watch it on Disney Plus? They're like, I'll wait till it's all out. Maybe I'll check it out after that. It's like, Khaleesi's in it. Samuel L. Jackson's the fucking star. Ben Mendelsohn's in it. Like, what more? I guess superheroes. That's what more you could put into it. Like superheroes with superpowers. Is that what people are waiting for? I don't know what the answer is. I mean, we've mentioned in the past, we think the overall answer is less shows, more special presentations. Yeah. If you did this as a special presentation, don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying it as a show. I'll be enjoying it for the next 3 weeks as well, but maybe it would have gotten more buzz if it was just a quick, oh my God, paranoia consumed, we don't know who in the MCU is Skrulls now. They're trying to turn into superheroes. Secret Wars is set up. I don't know what the answer is, though.
I have a theory here I just thought of. What if Marvel is doing this on purpose? They're slow playing the promotion and all this stuff and being like, hey, listen, our fans our diehard fans, they're going to ride with us. They're going to be there. And the ones who are kind of on the fence, they're not going to show up. We're not even going to like beg them to come. We're not going to splatter it all over the place. I was going to say like run commercials, but I feel like most people don't even like watch regular commercial TV anymore, right? And they're just going to say, and we're going to change. We're going to have a couple of just absolutely massive things at the end of the show, and everyone's going to say, holy fuck, I can't believe I missed this live in Secret Invasion. And then they're going to have you hooked in for all the other stupid shows that they wheel out and all the other movies. And you'll be like, I missed Secret Invasion. We had motherfucking Skrulls just flying everywhere, shooting lasers out of their eyes. How did this happen? And it's like, you have to just watch it. You can't miss a Marvel project anymore. So if that was kind of their way of going about this, I'll tip my cap to Feige. I'll put on Kevin Feige's actual cap and then tip it to him.
And if that's not the plan, you need to create a new plan really quick and put something together reshoot-wise to put the aerospace engineer Reed Richards in episode 6. So you can get people back, which is apparently up in the air right now. We were told Adam Driver was like basically signed on to play Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four. And now they're saying, no, there's a dispute about that. He might not be our Reed Richards anymore. So
oh, I didn't know that, Bob.
Actors, yeah, that whole thing is going to be an issue. I believe we do have our Sue Storm, and it's the woman from the last Mission Impossible movie who was really good. So we'll see about that. Before we get into Secret Invasion, I did want to mention something we briefly touched on last week's pod. We said Indiana Jones is coming out. We didn't know what kind of content we were going to do for it, if any. And based on the box office, I don't think people are begging us for content. Fortunately, Harrison's last time throwing the fedora on, it was a box office catastrophe, to say the least. I think even worse than The Flash when you look at the budget and what it made back. But I saw it, and I fucking loved it. Like, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny was a movie. Initially, I said they shouldn't even make. Nobody wants to see 80-year-old Indiana Jones. Then I said, you know what? I'm on board. As soon as I saw Harrison in the hat, in the costume, I was like, all right, I could get on for that. James Mangold, too, I had a lot of trust in with his previous projects. But man, I don't know what people were talking about. It's not just the critics that can and everything. Kevin Smith didn't even like this movie. He went out and was like, yeah,
really?
Yeah, and he barely talks about movies if he doesn't like them, but he was like, it just wasn't for me. He was looking for, I think, admittedly, more of a fan servicey movie. He wanted them to time travel through all the movies. But man, everything about this, I was smiling through the whole theater. Our theater was, once again, the Toms River, like, old people community theater. Yep. We were the youngest people there by 20 years. And I heard people sniffling by the end of it. I thought this movie was so badass. It was everything I wanted out of Dial of Destiny, like a send-off that was better than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, way better. Even if you don't dig Dial of Destiny, I think it's like objectively much better than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. But I'm here to say, if you were on the fence about this movie and you are an Indiana Jones fan, I think it's very worth going to see in theaters because, I mean, the John Williams score hooks you right away. You get that vibe right away. The de-aging stuff I thought looked really good. I've seen kind of back and forth stuff about whether or not people thought it looked good. It looks good. Harrison's voice is still the old man voice. So that's the one thing you got to sort of get past. But the ending is crazy ambitious, and they take a crazy swing that the more I think about, the more I love. And yeah, I'm kind of just I'm trying to put the word out that it is not the disaster that we were led to believe from Cannes Film Festival. That 5-minute pathetic standing ovation should have been 15.
The lukewarm standing ovation, which I say is like basically a lukewarm hand job, where the person doing it and the person getting it doesn't really want it. It's like we could go two ways here: either don't do it or do something a little more fun and exciting. And kind of just, I forgot all about that, Bob. But that's good. Like my guy Bob Fox, if it was a Star Wars movie, I'd be like, all right, Bob, you have the blinders on. You're a Star Wars. But this is indie. Now, I have to say, when you hear that song, when you hear the song, it's gonna like just every time they're seeing his dragon, they could throw that on. I probably like it. I have not seen the movie yet, but I'm definitely like, I'm excited based on what you said. I saw Castellani saw it as well, and I think he said like he didn't love it, but he didn't hate it by any means. He just said it was kind of like, it was, good. And if you want to say goodbye to Indy, that's the perfect way to say goodbye to Indy. Now, I didn't watch Indiana Jones as a kid. I just like missed it. And I watched it later in life and I liked it. I think for nostalgic people that grew up loving Indiana Jones, I feel like you have to see it. Like, why wouldn't you see it? You put in all that time, not just watching the movies, but talking about them, probably rewatching a million times. And I saw Castellani. He had 3 reasons why he thought it didn't work. And he said, no one gives a shit about Indiana Jones anymore, which a younger generation, it's kind of like it's been a weird gap, right? It's like they had all those movies way back when, huge gap. Then they had, which is his number 2 point, the last film wasn't very well received. So it's like, oh, the sequel to Crystal Skull Kingdom, whatever the fuck that is, don't care about that. And then like, just enough kind of speed bumps in the road through the Rotten Tomato scores at first, the 5-minute lukewarm standing ovation, which is still like an oxymoron the more you say it. And, just kind of like a mad vibe with the movie theater these days. So it's a bummer, man. I'm sad for Indy. I'm sad for boy Harrison. And like, I'm sad for Indiana Jones fans that he kind of just went out like a chump here, man. That's not cool.
No, I think when it hits streaming and stuff, it's going to have more of a like people getting around to it and watching it being like, oh shit, that was really good. Because to me, the vibe of the movie is like, we've kind of had like a rush of adventure movies recently with like Jungle Cruise, the Jumanji type movies. Yeah. Even like that shitty Red Notice movie, which wasn't very good. It at least had that adventure movie vibe. This was what those are trying to be in my mind. Like this had the vibe of an Indiana Jones movie, but also had a little bit of like Pirates of the Caribbean to me, where it's like, oh, it's just fun. Every scene moves, every scene rips. I mean, I will say there's a lot of car chases, and I know you're not a car chase guy, so you like that you'll have to get past, but I think it's worth seeing. I think it's worth making up your own mind on. And Harrison Ford's performance is just fucking awesome. He punches a lot of Nazis in the movie. That will get you past a lot of that.
That's how they should have sold the movie. We beat up a lot of Nazis. I would have watched it on the opening weekend. It's like, yeah, I want to see some Nazis get their ass kicked. Even if it's like,
hey, I'll sell it on this. I think the highest body count in any Indiana Jones movie.
Wow, really?
People are getting shot and dying left and like innocent civilians, Nazis, good guys, bad guys. People are just getting shot and killed in this movie.
Is Indy? Did Indy go heel and now he's shooting innocent civilians? Is that what you're telling me? No. That would be a twist. Now that would have been a twist if Indy the whole time he rips off his fucking like shirt and underneath he has like the Nazi symbol. Like, oh my god, it was Indy was the third man all along. That would have been a great twist for Mangold.
People would still not be as upset as they were with Luke's treating in The Last Jedi.
That's fair. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. If we're doing spoiler-free reviews, can I do a spoiler-free review on something?
Oh, yeah, please.
So my wife and I binged The Bear Season 2. And Bob, I'm obsessed. I really liked The Bear Season 1. Rico and Dante both blogged a review of Season 1 like within 10 minutes of each other, I think last year. It was the weirdest thing that I see two fucking things come in at the same time. The same show. It was the weirdest thing. I think it got picked up. So it both got their like gears moving. And I was like, I'm going to give this show a shot. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. It's about a kind of hole in the wall sandwich shop in Chicago for people that haven't seen it yet. And it gives you kind of a background of running a restaurant business. And the characters are all very unique and fun. Season 2, you get a little bit of that, but you also, I don't want to give away what happened in season 1. People haven't seen it all. But the growth of the show, the characters, the plot, everything, it becomes this fucking like unbelievable show that is just living in my brain. And I don't know if you've seen any of the tweets that have been going around. I am not alone in this take. It's fucking awesome. I've been like searching out TV podcasts to like hear people talk about it because I just loved it so much. And my wife was kind of in the same boat. There's one episode a lot of people are talking about, but there's really two that are just fucking – it happened about midway through the season that are just like, holy shit, and then the show just takes off from there. And then like the show does change directions a few times in a good way through the first 2 seasons. So I fucking loved it, and I cannot sing enough praises about The Bear. The biggest problem with The Bear is it's one of those shows. It's an FX show presented by Hulu or a Hulu show presented by FX. So I go on FX as an old man looking for it, and they never even put it there this year. Yeah. And it's just on Hulu. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, if I can't figure it out, like my parents sure as shit ain't gonna figure it out. So that was my only beef with The Bear, but it's an absolute
Your only beef
show.
With The Bear? That's good.
Oh, that's good.
Real good.
I walk into my good puns completely by mistake. That's the point of life I'm at right now. So I asked you a few times, like, yo, Robbie, did you watch The Bear? You're like, oh, episode 1 so far. I'm like, Robbie, you watch it? You're like, oh, episode 1. And that was just me being like, I just got to talk to someone about this right now. And I was looking to talk to my boy.
Here's the issue. You might see a different background. I'm at my mom's for the 4th of July holiday with my sister and her husband. They have not caught up yet. So we already watched episode 1. We were like, do we rewatch episode 1 with them so we can continue, or do we just wait till they go to bed, watch episode 2? So we're kind of in that limbo, but I loved season 1 of The Bear as well. I'm really excited for season 2. My brother, who is a pretty harsh critic when it comes to movies and TV, texted me and was like, dude, the episode everyone's talking about, I think it's episode 6. He's like, truly one of the greatest episodes of television I've ever watched. And then everyone said the episode after that, I think episode 7.
7.
That's the one, again, where everyone – is that the Christmas one, or one of them is a Christmas one, right?
Yep. 7 fishes and forks. Those are the 2 back-to-back. I won't give away anything in terms of – but one of them has to do with Christmas. The other one has to do with fucking forks. And it's –
got to be good for everyone to be raving about it in July as well. Like 4th of July weekend, I cannot stop hearing about this goddamn Christmas episode.
This is why I really, truly hate the binge model. Because if everyone watched episode 1 together, we would have episode 2, and most importantly, I could just start firing off memes once it's live.
Yeah.
I have so many memes. I'm up to my eyeballs in memes in my head. I got Threads now. I'm trying to get some fucking followers.
Oh, we're on Threads. We were like the first 2 on Threads. You, me, and Brendan Clancy, which is always a good sign when you're early with him.
Yep, I saw him write, "Let's go," when I was on. I was like, "Oh shit, BC's already on this. Of course he is." And you tweeted out the meme of me, you doing the NW. I was like, as long as I got my guy Bob with me on Threads, that's all that matters. I'll ride or die. So yeah, there's a lot of great potential in this show. If you haven't watched it, give it a shot. The first season, episode 1 or 2, and then I'm telling you, if you liked season 1, season 2 gets so much better. And it's like, you think it's going one way. It's just fucking great TV, dude. I just love great TV.
I'll try to binge it by our next episode. Maybe we could talk about it. Maybe we could throw on like the Bear circle back, kind of like we did Succession.
I like that.
All right. Before we get into Secret Invasion episode 3, let's tell everyone about Factor. Now that we're in the thick of the summer, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals to support sunny, active days if you're down the shore like me. Factor, a ready-to-eat meal kit, can help you fuel up fast with flavorful and nutritious ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You're going to save time, you're going to eat well, and you'll stay on track of reaching all of your goals. Whether that's financially, calorie-wise, they are going to help with everything. If you're too busy to run around during the day to eat lunch, get your energy up with the lunch to go. Effortless, wholesome meals like grain bowls and salad toppers, ready to eat when you're on the go. No microwave even required. So bring those to the beach if you want. With Factor, you can rest assured that you're making a sustainable choice. They offset 100% of our delivery emissions, source 100% renewable electricity for their production sites and offices, and feature sustainably sourced seafood in their meals. So this July, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered straight to your door, ready in just 2 minutes. No prep, no mess. Head to factormeals.com/Robbie50, ROBBIE50, and use that same promo code Robbie50 to get 50% off your first box. That's code Robbie50 at factormeals.com/Robbie50 for 50% off your first box. And there's a ton of meals in that first box. You get the shakes, the keto shakes and whatnot. So if you're running new Scrollos and you've got a bunch of scrolls to feed, order some Factor, put some food in all of their mouths. It might not be, you know, the stuff from their home planet, but they'll be like, oh man, this is even better. Next best thing.
Those dudes, they'll be putting some extra sugar on them, man. They love sugar.
Oh my God. That was crazy. For a second, I thought it was salt, and I was like, oh, Frank would get along with these guys, but it was sugar. And then what do they say? A little cappuccino in the sugar. I like a little.
I like my sugar with a little bit of espresso. I believe
that's a classic dad line. My dad always used to like, you put too much ketchup on something. Oh, you want some fries with that ketchup?
Yeah, that's a big dad line. And also, I did say Frank is a scroll. Hey, I'm a motherfucking scroll. We had a fucking problem with.
Someone needs to clip out that scene and put like at NJ Tank with salt. He would love it. I guarantee he'd love it. Yeah.
The old Frank left.
Unless you say something like, you know, when Steve Cohen, when he said, hey, I'll be doing a press conference tomorrow, someone in the office said to Frank, oh, imagine they let you into that thing. He let out the most evil Skeletor-esque laugh I've ever heard. He was like, so yeah, he could get evil with that laugh as well.
He's a scroll. He's a scroll. Let's stop laughing about it. Frank is a scroll. Let's just embrace it and we'll move on.
We get into the new Skrullos recruits right away this episode with Beto. I think he was the one that was the main Skrull, getting his mission to go to the Royal Navy, execute a strike on a UN target. Maybe second guessing himself a little bit. He's asking about, you know, why are we doing this? And they're like, it's about the faith in the future. It's not about what we've done in the past and whatnot. And then we see Gravik show the machine, that giant machine underground that Emilia Clarke was checking out, to the Skrull Council, including Shooter McGavin. He wants to create super Skrulls, and he tells all of them this. It's not just about us assuming identities anymore. We want the power. So the mission is to start World War III, get the humans occupied with that, and then take them out, exterminate them. And when he said super Skrulls, that got the blood flowing a little bit for me, because we know as nerds, it's eventually going to lead to the Secret Wars type thing, or at least we think it'll lead to Avengers Secret Wars, where we got half the superheroes are Skrulls, and they're fighting each other, and they got powers and all that. So good intro to this episode. Definitely nice to mention Super Scrolls with like 90 seconds into the episode to really like make us perked up the whole time.
So my note here, Super Scrolls is A plus marketing. That is as good a job as you're going to get. It gets the blood moving. It lets you, kind of gives the Scrolls a little bit more like street cred in my time too. It's like, oh, you got some Super Scrolls. And our guy, Heavy Spoilers, pointed it out in his recap of this episode that I believe it was like one of the first Fantastic Fours, the Super Scroll comes in and he has the 4 powers of the Fantastic Four. And if you notice the previous episode on Secret Invasion here, the 4 powers that our girl Amelia is looking at the computer are all kind of like, there's the Obsidian guy. He's like the strong, he's kind of like thing. Groot has the
like stretchiness. Fantastic.
Yeah. And I think you may have obviously a fire guy. I don't know if you have invisible or whatever, but I think it is kind of adding up to be a similar Super Scroll big boss, final boss guy. I'm Gravik, and I imagine he's gonna be the guy. And it's like, oh shit, so they're gonna do that without having the goddamn Fantastic Four. Again, Bob, you said it, and I have to just say it again. We had the engineer mentioned in WandaVision. We have been led astray, run amok, flat out deceived by Marvel through the last 3 years. I've been waiting for Mephisto's ass to show up. Just give us the goddamn Fantastic Four, or at least just say a name or do something. You don't have to put an actor in since you're apparently dealing with this shit, but I need a payoff pretty soon. I need a little bit of love here, man.
And like, our one contact into the Marvel Cinematic Universe is our guy, Michael Waldron. And he kind of did that for us, but he just turned him at the spaghetti in the first 10 seconds of him being on screen. He was like, hey, I'll give you a Fantastic Four. He's like, nah, I'm just fucking with you. I'm taking him back. So what the hell, man? Then we go to New York City in 1998. That is my birth year, Clem. Nick Fury goes into a diner to meet someone, and it's being sneaky right away. Who are you here to meet? I'm here to meet someone. Oh, what do they look like? Depends on the week. It winds up being his current wife, Vara. And I thought the de-aging in this scene was really well done, to the point where I couldn't tell that there was de-aging. And then when they cut to present day, I was like, oh, shit, they looked pretty young in that last scene. So whatever Marvel's doing, they got it figured out.
Yeah, they're crushing it, right? Like that shit is very cool. I do wish, though, as someone that was not born in 1990, very much not born in 1998, very much alive for a very long time at that point, driving at that point, that hurts. I wish we had a couple, like, give me a little bit of nostalgia. Give me tickle the nostalgia bone a little bit here, Marvel. That was like a big push.
Like a song back in the background or something like that.
Like in Captain Marvel, they had Blockbuster Video, something like that. And you're going to have me, again, as one of like the 16 people that's actually watching the show right now. You can make me and all the other fellow olds happy.
What were you up to in 98, you think? If this is just a random night in 98, what is Clem most likely to be doing?
I am playing Madden, listening to, like, let's see, 98. I'm probably still listening to like some old Tupac and Biggie, have Madden on mute and just playing like seasons and stuff like that. Nice. The AIM chat, I make my way into the AIM chat room. Sometimes I'm Clem. Sometimes I'm a young lady, whatever I feel like.
Sometimes you're a scroll, basically.
Sometimes I'm basically a real life scroll. That's what KFC used to always say. Like people would be acting. You thought you were talking to someone in a chat room that was like a, 25-year-old chick. It's like, no, it was just a bunch of dudes acting like
12-year-old boys. Yeah.
Actually, I've told this story on Podfathers. This is the truth. The only time I ever acted like someone else on AOL, I have no clue why I did it. I said I was Tony Baselli to people in a chat room once. I have no idea why I did it. Now, Robbie, you're going to say, who's Tony Baselli? Because you're not a huge
exactly
NFL
what
fan.
I'm going to say. Yeah, no, I don't know who that is.
And you know what? Even relatively big NFL fans may not know who Tony Baselli is. He was the left tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I believe he was the #1 pick of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know why I decided to be Tony Baselli one day. I think I just was trying to fuck with people. And and people believe me. And then I had one day a guy, like whatever it was called, IMs me. Hey, Tony, what's up? And I'm like, no, this isn't Tony. Like, no, Tony. I talked to you in like the chat room the other day. My dad's name is Tony. I thought someone was looking for my dad. Didn't think he thought I was Tony Baselli. Classic mix-up, classic scroll mix-up by me there, acting like so. this scroll secret invasion, we've been doing this shit since the internet was a
Yeah,
thing.
that's who you would go for. If you were from Scrollos, you came over to Earth, had to assume an identity, Clem would be Tony Baselli.
Tony Baselli. And trust me, Uncle Chaps really appreciated that as a diehard Jaguars fan. He looked at I moonlit as a fake Tony Baselli back in the day.
That's too funny. Too funny. We learned something new about Clem every week on this show. Tony Baselli, the fake Tony. All right. Someone actually cosplayed me in Rudy's Twitch chat the other day. Did I tell you about this?
No.
I was walking past Rudy, and I love Rudy, and he said, "Hey, thanks for hopping in the stream last night." And like, I was so mind fucked by that. I was like, "Wait, what?" He's like, "Thanks for hopping in the stream and helping me out." And I was like, how much weed did I smoke last night? What is he talking about? I said, I don't know what you're talking about right now. And he's like, we talked for like 2 hours last night, dude. Somebody cosplayed me in Rudy's chat while he was playing video games to be a nice guy and help him out. Like, he wasn't fucking with him. He apparently helped Rudy with a bunch of puzzles that he was working on. He's like, you really helped me out. And I was like, that wasn't me. So someone scrolled me.
So yeah, there are good scrolls in this world that will help you with video games, right? Not everyone's trying to start World War III.
Yeah, he was the Talos, which I found out this week. I've been saying Talos the whole time. Apparently, it's Talos Swift, the Eras Tour.
Okay, and that's how I'm going to remember it, because I had a question in my notes. Is it definitely Talos, or is there just have some people said Talos in the show and it can go whatever? I think you were just saying Talos and I just followed you. So Talos.
I think it was like Han and Han in Star Wars. It's like,
yeah,
you hear it once and you just start going with one or the other. So we go to present day. Fury's making some breakfast. Him and Vara have a very serious discussion about him being gone, not only for his time on the space station, but he was gone in the blip. So he got blipped away. She's like, I grieved you every night, cried on your pillow every night. And then eventually you come back and then you voluntarily go up to the space station. And he's saying, you know, who have you turned into while I've been gone in my absence? Have you been in touch with Gravik? When he asked that, I was like, how do they know each other? Could Gravik possibly be her son? And it's kind of Nick Fury's stepson. Is there a familial thing? The way he acts just seemed like it could be family in some way. And she tells him, in your absence, I became who I used to be, because that's what I had to do. It's like, oh, Bugs Bunny. Oh, Lord, don't make me go back to the old me. And she takes a phone call. He's very curious about it. She's like, oh, I don't have that intel at this time. All right, see you later. Click. And he's like, was that important? She's like, nope, not at all. Walks out of the room. La-di-da-di-da. It's like, that was fishy. Listen, I don't know if that was Gravik, but I'm going to assume that was Gravik.
Sus. That is what that word was, Rob. Sus. And at this point, it was so sus. I'm like, is she just fucking with him and being like, yeah, so like you'll think twice before you head up to the space station and leave your wife behind here in the middle of a goddamn war. I did not like that. I don't like
the other end of the phone line. It was like, your automated car insurances. And she's like, oh, I don't have that information right now. Click. I don't know who it could have been, Nick. Don't know who it could have been.
We leave these two last episode and Otis Redding's playing. I'm thinking we're going to get a little scroll fuckery going on here. And now we have like mind games, cell phones, and how we watch this with Sienna. Sienna goes, don't you open that phone, Nick Fury. She wanted no part. Privacy. She draws the line of privacy. I mean, I'm going to have to worry about, like, I'll be monitoring the shit. I will be watching everything Sienna does on all her social medias and stuff when she has this, until basically she is like, I legally can no longer do it. I'm hoping we have laws that will allow me to do it for the rest of her life. I didn't know she's talking to some fake Tony Baselli on there, you know? So,
also, you got to be very, very astute with phones in Marvel Cinematic Universe. Vara's not rocking an iPhone.
Yes.
And we know Apple only allows iPhones with good guys. So maybe Marvel's just saying, hey, we're going to muddy the waters and you're not going to see a lot of iPhones anymore. Or maybe she's not a good guy. I don't know.
She's a bad dude. Yeah, it's kind of like the low-key way to figure out if someone's good or bad. And I did love how it was like a Game Boy Color too. It was like a flip phone, but it wasn't like a typical flip phone. It was very, very odd. And again, it's kind of like the Skrulls haven't evolved technologically since when they came here, kind of like with those computers and then with the flip phone. And our boy Nick Fury, what a lot. I don't golf, so think about taking up revenge. I'm like, again, we just have Samuel L. Jackson just dropping, Samuel L. Jackson lines left and right here. Jules Winfield is fucking a SHIELD agent now. It's incredible.
We got a scene later on, and we'll get to it, where my note is Bob talks shit on Talos until Fury turns into Jules again. Or Talos, sorry. But like he literally has a scene every episode where he's like, all right, let me go Pulp Fiction on him here. And the director's like, all right,
and I do appreciate it.
Yeah.
I do appreciate it.
So Gravik confronts Gaia about Brogan's confession last week with the torture scene. And he's like, how did he confess to stuff that he didn't know? And Gaia gives a very sus response to him. She goes, you know, he could know all that stuff. He made an educated guess. By the way, I'm a really good liar. And it's like, what? Well, why would you tell him that right after you lied to him? Clearly, I don't know. But then she goes and in the car ride starts texting her dad some intel. Talos, we find out later. She is the spy. She's texting him some stuff. And Gravik in the car is like, Talos called me for a parlay about Gaia. He kept using this parlay. I just kept thinking parlay, like Barstool Sportsbook parlay. I never heard this word used so many times. Sounds like it was just a meeting. Is that what he was calling?
So I have a note in here. First of all, I would love if they were talking parlay responsibly in the Barstool Sportsbook app. Maybe get a little 3-team parlay, 6-1. Wouldn't you just love that if they're just like, all right, taking the Mets?
Skrulls love gambling. Like, this is
Skrulls.
We got to start World War III, but this is fun.
White Sox under, and I would love it. So I took this, which I'm shocked you didn't pick up on this or think of this. We're talking parlay. We're talking a little bit of Captain Jack in Pirates of the Caribbean here. We're talking about a little negotiation going on, and I forget the exact specifics.
Is it a pirate term?
I don't know if it started with the Pirates, but I do believe they did adopt it. And I'll tell you, Bob, I absolutely love when they talk parlay and fucking Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know. I guess it's like if you say parlay, you can't just like slit the dude's throat. It's like an honor system kind of thing. But I always just loved it. And I think I like presented some talking parlay to my wife back in the day. All right, let's talk parlay right now, honey. I'll go to, the Backstreet Boys concert with you. If I can then go with the fellas to, our baseball trip next month. So I'm all about talking parlay. We'll talk. I'll call Portnoy up right now. We'll talk parlay for a little bit. See what we can get out of him.
By the way, I saw Dave tweeted that he's not interested in being on Threads, the new app. He's like, I reserve the right to change my mind, but I'm not interested in this. So I've taken it upon myself. I'm just going to screenshot all his tweets and post them on Threads. And I'll be the Dave Portnoy reporter, like NY Post.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I was actually, I love that we were both in thinking like devious like this. I was thinking about just changing my name and everything to act like I was Dave Portnoy to get the followers up.
Like Tony Vaselli.
Yes, exactly. I'm a scroll. I'm just a scroll, apparently. I'm learning. I'm a scroll live on this podcast right now.
You definitely are, yeah. If you clicked on this episode, you will have already seen the thumbnail, but I'm definitely editing you as green with ears on this thumbnail. So they go have their parlay at an art museum. Great spot for a hero and a villain to meet in any movie, TV show, or whatever. Always art museum where they, I'm sure, are breaking down that painting that's going to symbolize what the whole show represents, all that stuff. And Talos gets handsy when they sit down. He like grabs them because Gaia gets mentioned. He's like, don't ever mention my daughter. Yeah, you don't say the G word.
Say the G word.
So he gets handsy, and everyone around Gravik turns into Gravik. And we saw this scene in the trailer. I wish we didn't, because it's such a cool, oh fuck, you're in trouble moment of like, don't even try anything. Literally all of these people, it's like the Joe Schmo show over here. You're the only one not in on this here. And eventually threatens to out Gravik to everyone. He's like, I'm going to tell everyone who's attacking them. So it's not just World War III and the humans don't know what's happening. Gravik says, you'll be responsible for the downfall of our entire civilization. And eventually gets stabbed right in the hand and like pulls his hand out of it. There's a scene kind of like that in John Wick 4. I don't want to spoil it because you haven't seen it yet. But as soon as he pulled his hand out of that and you see it regenerate, another one of those kind of mature Marvel scenes where I was like, ooh, that was kind of nasty. A cool parlay scene, though. I would say this was probably my favorite scene in the episode.
I thought you were going to say, I think this is probably my favorite parlay scene of all time. Right here.
This is top 5 parlay scenes.
Talos, badass as hell, man. He goes at him, like you said, gets handsy.
Good dad, yeah.
Yep. Even though he knows he's surrounded by Skrulls that, have bad intentions with him potentially, he's still riding or dying for his daughter. And that the knife and hand trick is such a great move. Luca Brasi, that's what they do to Luca Brasi in Godfather. I'll be honest with you, Bob. I think I might do that one day. If I'm ever kind of just
put a knife in
I
someone's
might
hand.
put a knife in someone's hand. Yeah, I think I might like.
Someone says the wrong thing about your daughter. I mean,
yes. I will. It'll probably be AJ. I'll be doing it to my own son.
It'll be our next trip to medieval times. Like something's gonna go wrong, and you're accidentally gonna put a sword into someone's hand, and it's gonna be like, ah! It's gonna be like Ace Ventura when they put the spikes in his legs. It'll be like, ah!
And I'll tell you, after this scene, Bob, we said last episode, or I think the first episode, we are Ben Mendelsohn guys. Like we are ride or die for him, and if he does something problematic, we have to defend him. This scene, I'm 1,000% in now. I'm straight up like, I'm also praying to God he doesn't make us have to do that for him, but I'm ready to ride for this fucking dude because that was just a great scene. Also, those paintings, I don't know. I love like history and shit like that. You see Churchill there, but that was a great line. I'd rather be, have my like history written in blood than in oil and paint or whatever. Yeah, very oil and ink. Yeah, very cool shit. I thought that was he said every show or every thriller should have like a meeting in a museum and they talk like against a painting as they go through it.
Yeah. And I think the actor's name is like Ben Kingsley Adair or something. He's also playing Bob Marley in an upcoming biopic. The trailer came out today. I watched the trailer. Got to tell you, this guy's a great actor because I did not see Gravik for a second in the Bob Marley trailer. I was like, oh my God, he completely transformed himself.
Well, I did not realize that was his name. It's Kingsley Ben because Ben Kingsley is a famous actor as well.
That's right.
But I go to his Wikipedia, Kingsley Ben Adair, and then the first line, it's not even the first line of his bio. It's above his bio in italics, not to be confused with Ben Kingsley. That's incredible. But I didn't realize he's going to be Bob Marley. Hey, man, you get
pretty cool.
That's a big time fucking role right there.
Hopefully they don't fuck that up. Not that it would be his fault, but just in general, biopics, you never want people to fuck up like a legendary, especially for such a music fan, a musician like that.
It's saying here he's Ken in Barbie.
Does he play one? Well, there's a bunch of Kens,
There are a bunch of Kens, and spoiler,
he's one of the Kens.
We've made it this far without spoiling anything. We didn't spoil the bear. We didn't spoil Indiana Jones. And I just spoiled Barbie. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. John Cena's a Merman, Ken? What?
Oh, I didn't know John Cena was in it.
You want me to keep fucking spoiling it, Bob? I'll give you some more.
Right? He's one of them.
Yeah. I don't know who that is. I don't know his name.
Simu Liu?
Yep. We have Scott Andrew Evans, whoever that is, One Life to Live. And then, Michael Cera is not Ken. He is Alan. I don't know if that's Ken's brother or something. So, yeah. By the way, Oppenheimer. That is the most forward I think I've looked to a movie this year other than Guardians. I agree. Stoked for that. I'm seeing it in IMAX. I even hit up Large. If you want to come too, we're going to go to the New Rochelle IMAX and we're going to watch it in the proper, format.
I'm in. Let's go get bombed.
Let's go get bombed. Oh my God, Bob. My exact last text. My last text message to Larry is like, Larry goes, I'm in. I go, boom, in parentheses, atomic bomb joke. Sorry if this offends. And he goes, too soon. You are there, man. All you need to do is actually produce a kid, but the dad jokes are strong with this one right here.
Yeah. Well, I told you I got faith now, so I'm a dog dad, and the dad jokes are just ripping now. Nick Fury goes into a bar to ask Talos for help. Also, Talos bumps into someone on his way out, drops the phone. Classic situation like that.
And Nick Fury, see the guy on the phone later. The same guy you see in the background. My guy, heavy spoilers pointed that out to me. I would have completely missed it.
That is going to pay off later, right? Like that didn't pay off in this episode, did it? I was thinking, did I miss something?
So what happens is the person who gave Talos the phone is clearly a Skrull because the person they're acting as you saw. So it's not that guy. It's someone else who guy was sitting right there.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's a lot to process here. I cannot do these recaps unless I at least watch like one recap from someone else telling me what happened, or else we would just be walking blind.
Yeah. I didn't do that. I've been just watching babies, and it's just kind of turned my brain to mush, to be honest.
I saved everyone the story of what just happened in Pennsylvania the last few days in the Clemenza family. So I'm right there with you in terms of mush brain right now.
AJ.
someone asked, how was your trip? We had a little 4th of July trip from the July 3rd to the 5th. I said it was one of those trips. I don't know how many people have had them in their lives. There's always the trip where it's so bad, it's comically bad, and you talk about it the rest of your life. During our trip, we went to Lancaster, Pennsylvania for Dutch Wonderland. It's like a little amusement park, baseball game. It's Amish country, so we could, do some stuff there, whatever. The kids were basically taking turns about who had the stomach bug and which part of the body the stomach bug came out of. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It's one of those. And then the car ride home became basically worrying about and then which one of them was going to have an issue. And then me and my wife were kind of battling stuff throughout that. So, yeah, not a very good 4th of July weekend. I wish I just stayed home.
Yeah, that's you know what? That's tough. At least you got Secret Invasion.
Yeah, we came home. Me and Sienna half alive or watching Secret Invasion when we got home, so that was nice.
So Nick Fury goes into a bar to ask Talos for help. Talos knows what he's there for right away.
Talos, all right, Bob. All right, we're gonna have to do something here. We're gonna have to change
it. Yeah.
No, we're gonna have
a swear jar.
A swear jar. Yes, that's exactly what dollar. Okay. Every time you say Talos, $1 goes to our guy Sam Lauderdale, big St. Jude's guy. I love St. Jude's. Okay. $1 goes to St. Jude's every single. And do I correct you or do I just silently count?
No, just you could, yeah, but
I'll correct you because I can't just have
correct me. Yeah,
you're never going to be corrected.
That's tough. I'm gonna have to write it differently. I'm gonna have to write it with a Y.
Taylos. Yeah.
So he goes to ask Talos for help, and Talos is not interested at first unless he hears Nick Fury basically tell him, "Hey, I'm pathetic without you, and I need your help." So he makes him say those words.
That too.
Yeah, he did it.
That's such a.
He's like, whatever. Yeah. He actually stands up and whispers. He tries to make a show of it a little bit. I'll say it for you, bro. I just need your help. And he calls Olivia Colman, and she gives up Bob immediately. So it's Bob. He's like, oh, it's Bob. I gotta make that a meme for myself.
That would, yeah, there's some meme potential in this show, but again, it's not going to mean anything because nobody watches the goddamn show, so they're not going to know.
Disney's probably going to fucking pull it next week for, a write-off. They're going to write it off.
You could write it off. The magazine is going to be donated to St. Jude's.
Fury and Talos get into it on a drive where Fury's like, I've been cleaning up your mess for 30 years. And he's like, motherfucker, is that how you see our relationship? You've been cleaning up my mess? He's like, let me remind you, you didn't progress through S.H.I.E.L.D. until you put together this secret squad, and then we all just basically did your work for you, and you climbed up the ranks thanks to us. And I immediately got vibes of Tales of the Jedi, the animated Star Wars series, where we saw Count Dooku kind of doing a lot of the work for Mace Windu, another Samuel L. Jackson character, and then he rises the ranks of the Jedi Council. I was like, shit, is Talos the Count Dooku to Nick Fury's Mace Windu in a weird, convoluted way? But I really enjoyed this conversation and kind of the 30-year backstory you get for not only Nick Fury, but his climb through S.H.I.E.L.D.
They have a good rapport with each other. And it's like guys who are definitely have done some shit together and are, co-workers, but also the fact that you could be like, I want you to say that you are fucking lost. That's something you would say to a buddy that you've had for years, and you can kind of twist the knife in him, and he's gonna have to take that knife out. And I remember one time I was my buddy, we went to New Orleans for a trip, and he was just pissing me off. He was just bothering me. He's a great guy, but he could just be a gnat when he wants to be a gnat. So I just pinned myself on top of him, and I'm like, apologize. Just apologize. And I started hitting himself with his hands like he do to a kid. And I was like, apologize. He was like, you're just bothering everyone right now. And finally he's like, you can't pull that shit unless you have the battles that you've been through with each other in a good way. The late nights at the bar and just all the nonsense, the drunk nights, the mornings where you're still kind of just hungover. And I feel like Talos and Nick Fury could probably tell some tales about the shit that went down. And I just love that whole dynamic. That's one of the cool things about this show that apparently 90% of MCU fans are just missing right now.
They're missing out on it. And I don't want anyone listening to this podcast to miss out on any big events because they're overpriced. Okay. And I know a lot of events are overpriced nowadays, but not with Game Time, the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports, created by fans for fans. Game Time is the ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, shows, more. They guarantee the lowest price. And if you're getting into one of these disagreements with a friend and you're like, listen, let's go smooth things over, take them to a baseball game, go to a minor league game, go to a major league game. I mean, you couldn't go to major league with Game Time because they're as cheap as minor league tickets. It's all possible with their app. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you thought you could never buy, and the purchase process just takes 2 taps and 10 seconds. Once you buy your tickets, they're delivered directly to your phone, no printer needed, and the app also allows you to share your tickets with friends via text, so you can all get into the game seamlessly. One of your friends is annoying you, you don't want to go into the game with him, text him his ticket, say, hey, we'll meet you at entrance B and go in entrance C, and then just be like, hey, we're in there, just meet us at our seats. Skip the hassle, enjoy the moment. Download the Game Time app or go to their website, enter your email, and redeem the code MMB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Game Time is the best. I'll be using them tonight as we record this, July 6th, to go see Yellow Card down the shore. Ocean Avenue on the beach where I could see the ocean. It's perfect.
It's a beautiful thing. And if you get sick with the stomach flu, you won't even mind it because you save so much money. It'll be like you went for free. It'll be all good.
Don't put that energy on me, Clem.
Sorry,
don't put that demon energy on me.
I'm in a bad place, Bob.
I did see you posted from that vacation. The minor league game you went to looked like the coolest ballpark I've ever seen. They had the Simpsons arcade game, pinball machines, skee ball, looked like a whole cafeteria. Where was that? In Lancaster, did you say?
The Lancaster Barnstormers. They are it's Yankee Clipper, Clipper Magazine Stadium, which you ever get the Clipper Magazine where like they send you the local coupons for your stuff. They're the ones who sponsored it. It's a pretty new ballpark, I believe. And then when I was about to buy tickets, I saw for $10 more than I could pay for just like regular seats, you get to go into the thing. It's called like the Retro Arcade Suite, and it has Simpsons, Ninja Turtle game, Golden Tee, Donkey Kong. I mean, basically, like there's like all these old school arcade games. The Terminator game, remember Terminator 2?
Oh,
right,
yeah.
with the guns, all that kind of stuff. It has like 6 skee ball machines, and it has like, I don't know, 50, 70 pinball machines, all from like the gold, like, and pinball machines I never knew existed, but they're like awesome, like NBA and just very cool brands and stuff like that associated with it that were a lot of fun. So it was like $10 more. I get to go to the baseball game, seats right behind home plate, a suite. It's air conditioned, hot dogs, hamburgers, chips, drinks, sodas, whatever you want to do, waters. It was incredible. So if you're ever passing by Lancaster, Pennsylvania, check it out. Tell them Clem sent you, and see if you can get on Game Time there. Maybe get your tickets for a little cheaper. And do the Retro Arcade Suite. It was fucking incredible. And the kids didn't watch a pitch of baseball, but they loved the hell. And it was fireworks night too, so we had the 4th of July fireworks. It was absolutely perfect. Boom, there we go. Another fireworks. Another reference for you.
So back to Secret Invasion. Talos sneaks in as Bob to the Bob compound, and his cover's blown pretty much right away. Like he sneaks in past one guy as Bob, and then the next guy that sees him is like, wait a minute, I just said bye to you. And then it's full on scroll ambush, and you get a quick standoff with the real Bob with his kid, and Nick Fury sees through it because he calls him Nick in Talos's, it's $1, in Talos's voice. He calls him Nick, and he's like, nobody calls me Nick. So he puts the call in for the strike anyway. They don't know the code to it, so they're like trying to get the code out of him and whatnot. And then here's where we get Jules. Bob starts talking shit. I'm not giving you this. I'm not giving you that. And Nick Fury's like, I will give you to the count of 3, motherfucker. Immediately goes into Jules' voice. It's amazing. Bob brings up Gaia again, and he gets shot for it. You don't say the G word in front of our guy Talos, Ben Mendelsohn. You just don't do that. But then he calls Gaia, and she gets the password through his memory bank. She kind of watches it, and it's a shame. It's, just killed that guy, but it's, well, I guess he killed the scroll version of him. It's his son, Zachary. So they get the code, Zachary. They stop the World War III strike from happening, essentially. And Gaia is then stopped by Gravik in the forest. She tries to escape, but he knows she was the traitor. And he shoots her. He shoots her in the forest, seemingly killing her, but like there's no fucking way she's dead because you don't get Amelia Clark for that role? Like, what's going on here?
I have it. R.I.P. our dog Gaia. Like, is she dead? I didn't even know what side Gaia was on until like the end of this episode. And then I feel like that's the move. If you're a Skrull and you get like shot or something, just morph back into your Skrull form and try not to like scream or cry. And
True.
then they'll be like, oh, they're dead. Right. It's like when you were a kid and it's like, if you stick your tongue out of your mouth, that means that you're dead. Isn't it weird that everyone does that? Yeah. And then now that you know what dead people look like, no one has their tongues out. That was always the weirdest thing. No one does that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Talia al Ghul does that in The Dark Knight Rises. If you go back and rewatch her death scene,
right, that's tough.
It's a great movie, but it's a tough scene. She's like, It's like, wait a minute. You're a great actress. Why did you do that? Was that a joke take that they accidentally put in the movie? It's weird. Go back. It'll kind of ruin the movie for you. Not the whole movie, but it'll ruin the ending for you.
I love that. First of all, Talos is awful at like being like a sneaky kind of like secret agent guy, right? He's just awful at it. Like he has many strengths, sneaking around, and like, I mean, honestly, he gets caught like instantly too. It would have been funny, and I'm gonna say the bad word, but I'm saying it on purpose, the T word.
Okay.
It would be funny if the roles were switched, and then the guy is acting like the Fury goes, "Hey, Talos, I got him," and then Talos like, Talos goes, "My name is Talos. You,
it's not my name."
The only person who calls you that is Robbie Fox, and he has to pay $1 to St. Jude's every time he does it.
Yeah, I already owe $1. I'll give that $1. So the episode ends with a very ominous scene of Vara getting her keys, taking a train to like one of those security box rooms that banks have. Is that what it's called? Security box?
Safety deposit box.
Safety deposit box.
Right?
Yes. Yep. That sounds
two poor guys right here telling.
Yeah. Oh, I don't have one. You could tell by that.
I definitely.
What would I put in my safety deposit? My Superman Lives script when Kevin Smith signed?
Well, Bob, that was gonna be a question. If you had a safety deposit box, what would you put? I have this as a thing. And you know what I would put in there?
What?
I would put a gun in there, even though I don't own a gun and never have an interest. I just feel like it's a badass thing to do. I mean,
that is badass to have a gun in a box like that. Just like if you got to go John Wick, you're like, I got to go get my weapon. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if the safety deposit box, I don't know, handler or valet stays in there with you, or they just let you be, or maybe they're watching you on a camera. But if you just open the box, you take the gun up, you're like, put it back in, put the box back in there. I think that's kind of it's like a flex, right?
I would put cool. like a replica Han Solo DL-44 in mine. Just take it out and go pew 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 and put it back in. So she goes to hers and she does in fact have a gun in there. She has a gun and an envelope. I don't know if there's cash. Did she see what was in there? It looked like she looked like it, but we didn't get to see, right?
Yeah, I don't know what's and Sienna asked me 1,000 times like, what's going on here? What's this? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to know and not supposed to know in this show, which is kind of fucking annoying. But it's also like that's what you're getting with like a thriller show, right?
Yeah,
you get this kind of stuff. So I'm with you there. I don't know if we're supposed to know or not. Let us know in the comments. Tweet at us. Yeah. Hit us up on Threads. Whatever you got to do. Help a couple of morons figure out what this whole goddamn show is about.
And by the way, if you didn't get in on it one of the previous weeks where we did this, we had the entire comment section of our YouTube turn into everyone telling us which Barstool employees they think are Skrulls and why. This week, let's just open that up to the world. Which celebrities, baseball players, athletes, anyone. Who do you think is a Skrull and why? Because I had a blast reading through all the random submissions. I thought that was really funny. The episode ends, though. Go ahead.
I had a guy reach in, Chris Castaneda. Idea for a pod question at the end. If you were a Skrull, who would you turn into? Like, which human would you want to have?
Tony. Who lives such a cool life that I'm like, I just want to just step into their life and just assume those shoes. Because, like, you don't want to go with, like, you know, you don't want to go too famous in terms of a Taylor Swift because her tour right now, I'm sure she's working a ton. And, you know, you want more of a chill, like, you almost want, I want to say you want, like, an in-shape old person where you're like, I know I'm not going to die, but, like, Harrison Ford would be a good one, to be honest. Just step into Harrison Ford's life. He does whatever he wants all day, every day. I guarantee it. But you know what? They would tell I was a Skrull right away because I wouldn't be able to shit on Star Wars like him.
Yeah, that's actually a great. You get a lukewarm standing ovation everywhere you go too, which would be kind of.
I get a little teary-eyed whenever they bring up Star Wars, and they'd be like, "Harrison, that ain't you." Who would be a good one to assume into? I don't know. Do you have one?
So I did have an idea of one. It was only for the podcast. I was going to bring it up just because I thought you'd find it funny. It would be funny if there was someone who would just be whatever one is the dickhead Gallagher brother or the bigger of the dickhead Gallagher brothers and was like
reunite Oasis
and say they're going to reunite and then say no they're not and just play with like their Oasis fans is like
that wouldn't be funny. That's not funny at all. That's not joking matter. You can't laugh about that. But yeah, like step into Liam Gallagher and then just be like, no, I'm so sorry. Let's do this. Let's get the band back together. Yeah, that's what to do. Thank you for that idea.
Or if you go out to like the Hamptons and just morph into Leo and just see what it's like as a day in the life of Leo, just like walking down the street and just seeing the girls swoon and fawn over themselves. Also, my guy Chris here said Jose Youngs is definitely a scroll. He knows way too much about what's going on all this sussless. So our boy Jose took a stray shot there.
He could be. So Vara gets a call. The voice on the other end says, St. James Church, 1 hour. And she's like, I want to speak to Gravik. And she hears like, well, you're talking to me. Click. So it's like, you have been talking to Gravik. Did you lie to Nick Fury when you said you didn't talk to him, or you kind of just didn't tell the truth? You withhold the truth from him. She's been talking to Gravik. Is it a familial thing? Is it her son? Is it someone she knows? Is it someone she helped to raise through the Skrull camp? Is she trying to tell him, don't go down this path? Is she trying to pull the light out of him, Princess Leia, Ben Solo style, something like that? I don't know, but I don't trust Vara. I hate to say it. I know Nick Fury trusted her enough to marry her and whatnot. I just don't know if I trust. I don't even know if I trust Nick Fury right now. I see people talking about Nick Fury might be a Skrull. We might get a new Nick Fury in the final episodes. I don't know what to believe, but right now I don't really trust anyone but Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah, I think Talos is the only guy I can trust right now, right? And
yeah.
And I don't know if Talos is even Talos when it comes down to it, because he can't. I don't like it, Bob. I don't like it one bit. This is the problem. That I need to know for a fact that Nick Fury is Nick Fury, because once I do not know if he's Nick Fury, the entire fucking
everything,
the Jenga blocks just all fall over.
How do I know I'm me?
Yeah, exactly.
How do I know you're you? How do we know that we exist? How do we know that Secret Invasion is just a figment of our imaginations and we're in a Moon Knight like locked away room and the MCU doesn't exist anymore? And they're like, Robbie and Clem, they really believe that they're talking about shows every week.
This is why we needed old Scroll Jose Youngs to give us like a breakdown beforehand. Because when we got the breakdown for Moon Knight, we kind of knew what was going on.
Yeah.
We might have been able to like be like, listen, these things are definitely what's going to happen. It's kind of would be spoilery, but at least like I'd have my head on straight. At this point, I'm just fucking. I'm turning into Tony Baselli all over again. I'm scrolling
Tony Baselli over here. I don't know what to believe. We got 3 episodes left. This is officially the halfway mark. As we mentioned at the beginning, it's a show that I'm enjoying. It's not a show that is like the most must-watch show that you have to recommend to everyone week to week. But I'm certainly surprised that word of mouth and this cast hasn't carried it to greater discussions on Twitter, on Instagram, on Threads. Threads, the newest app.
Follow us on Threads.
I saw Mark Zuckerberg tweeted he wants Threads to be the #1 spot for MMA discussions. I was like, ooh, spinning back fists. Maybe that could help keep the basement lights on for a little longer. Let's hope so. Let's hope so, Zuck.
It's such bullshit that YouTube is one of like the few things that Zuck hasn't like taken over, right? Because he just talked to them, and he'd be like, they'd be like, "Who's the #1 MMA guy?" Robbie Fox. That's what all the suits would say there, right? So
that's what the YouTube suits think. Yeah. I might be going on a trip to YouTube as well. We'll talk about that off air, but apparently YouTube wants to send the kings of YouTube to figure out some algorithm shit. And Gaz was like, would you go out there to figure out some algorithm shit? I was like, fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. And if anyone has any algorithm shit that they could tell us independently, let us know. Let's hack the system here, people.
If you could turn us into Mr. Beast numbers wise, we'll take it.
I will give whoever can turn My Mom's Basement into a top 10 weekly recap show in terms of numbers, this $100 bill that is in my wallet right now. There you go. Has to be in the top 10. I'm talking, your heavy spoilers, new rock stars, all those guys. If we're number 10 in the top 10 because of your advice, $100 bill coming.
Hundo. Big Benjamin Franklin coming your way.
It might be a fake. I don't know, but that band makes it look real.
Don't say that. Okay, take it off the thing.
Edit that out of the podcast, Robbie.
Yeah. All right. We will talk to everyone next week. Catch up on The Bear season 2. We'll probably be talking about that next week as well. And who knows? Next week, you might be getting Tony Baselli and Robbie Fox.